Hey guys, and welcome to episode 0, the very first episode of Radio and the Drum. I'm your host, Mickeli Bedore, and I'm going to be your tour guide in this audible experience. And I wanted to take the first episode before we get into all our fantastic guests in this first season, which, by the way, we've got some incredible conversations, very, very motivating, uplifting conversations that I can't wait to share with you. But I thought, if this is your first time tuning in, which it probably is since it's the first episode, why not just give a little bit of background and purpose of what we're doing here and why we're deciding to put together a show. My background being a podcaster for many years during the Coffee and Closers years, if you were part of that, we ended up filling up theaters. We ended up turning into a live experience. We'll see where this goes. But more importantly, this is for the ears of folks that have ADHD. Maybe you struggle with it. Or maybe you don't have ADHD, but you live with someone who does, or you work with somebody who does. Maybe it's a business partnership, and sometimes it can get a little crazy. This is to help bring some of that together. We're going to feature folks that have had success in business and in life despite having ADHD, as well as people that have had success working alongside people with ADHD and just how they've overcome and what they've learned and what they've accomplished. The whole point of this is to give the listener something that I wish would have existed when I was growing up, especially in my younger days, struggling with it and not really talking about it and not really understanding what it was. Now, for some of you, that might have been a long time ago before this was really discussed. Maybe you're living in the thick of it, and that's all people discuss around you. And maybe they, I don't know, they put something ahead of you to say, well, they can't accomplish this or that because, they have this deficiency. I cannot tell you how many times I had heard how I wasn't going to accomplish certain things because I was a little squirrely, or I was distracted, or I couldn't pay attention. All of those things that later on in life I was able to hone and really turn into 5 to 6 businesses. Not all successful, but the ones that were have helped carry us through a lot of different journeys and chapters in life. But without it, I don't think I would have accomplished any of that. So I want you to hear this, not just from me, but from people just like you that maybe have heard that when they were younger. Maybe they're hearing it now. Maybe they're older and they're just going, man, what is going on here? Why do I struggle with these various things? And I will tell you, throughout the conversations that we've had, we do discuss addiction. We do discuss marital problems. We do discuss business problems. We do discuss just life distractions. This is why we titled it Radio and the Drum. The radio is the AM kind of static that we have to face in a daily basis just to survive, just to kind of get through the day, that's static. But then the drum beat that we choose to overcome it, to hone it, to leverage it. And I can tell you unequivocally, without my ADHD, I wouldn't be the entrepreneur that I am today. And like I said, we've had success and we've had failure. We've tasted both. And both have taught us, in our family, we have a phrase, we either win or learn. And, it's something that we've applied, but it, would have been a little bit easier some days had I not had this distraction, this AM radio. But there's many other days where I'm grateful that I do. And so these are going to be discussions, really open dialogue, very vulnerable, very honest conversations about the journey to the success these people have achieved, all the different things that they have to face in between. And a lot of these stories, these are complications that they face today. Don't believe everything that you read. Just because someone looks happy in an Instagram post or they're featured, in some publication, that doesn't mean they have it all together. And to be fair, the people that we've interviewed that don't have it, that work alongside of those of us that do, or maybe are married to those of us that have it, it's not sunshine and roses for them either. Everyone has their own battles. We can't cover all of them, although we cover a lot. But the purpose of this show is going to be having conversations around ADHD, around life, around business. And I got to tell you, some of the stories, we're talking federal prison, we're talking drugs and addiction to one of the top-rated jiu-jitsu martial artists in the world. We've got stories for everyone. And this is meant to be an all ages show. Now, can I promise and can I edit out all of the naughty words? I'm going to do my best. All right. But we'll make sure that you kind of know that, a heads up if you got kids listening. In fact, at some point, I'd love for my 10-year-old to come on here. She has ADHD. And the funny thing about it is we homeschool her because, sitting on her butt all day and Industrial Revolution teaching doesn't work for her. It didn't work for me. We had no other options back then. We are blessed to have those options today. But in her free time, she runs a candle business, and that candle business is currently featured on some big shelves in retail, but also, some homeschool or entrepreneurial day types of things where she's selling stuff online and she's selling them in person, and she's doing pretty well. And then the extra money that she makes from that, we've put it into the stock market, into some Bitcoin, into some different high growth businesses at 10 years old. So if you're 10 years old and you're hearing this, or maybe you're older than that, probably you are, I just want you to hear that that ADHD doesn't discriminate on your age, but it also isn't the boogie monster that you may think it is. The boogie monster that I thought it was. Again, I wasn't until 25 years old when I was diagnosed, and I happened to be friends with somebody whose mom was a child psychologist, who worked with kids with special needs, being ADHD and distraction in their daily life. And I was 25, and it took her 2 seconds to realize, hey, you have ADHD. So, of course, I went and met with some specialists, and what do you know? At 25 years old, it made sense to me. I was like, oh, this is what's been going on. This is what's been holding me back. And then it took the rest of my life to really work through it and figure out, I may not be skilled here. These things might be distractions that I can't overcome, but if I just stay in my lane and I use this for the things that I am good at, the God-given gifts that I do have, well, the rest is history. Like I said, we've had success in business and we've had some failure. But when you have the attitude of we either win or learn, you kind of come out on top either way. So we're going to be talking about that a lot, but I wanted to give you kind of my backstory. So I grew up in a very small town in northern Minnesota. I was a Holly Golden Nugget, if you guys know where that's at. If not, you can Google it, Holly, Hawley. And I was in a public school, just like most people, in fact, everyone I knew at that time. We didn't know about homeschooling or have the ability to afford private school, so we went to public. So did all my friends. Some of those friends had ADHD and some of them didn't, but I'll tell you one thing, none of us really knew because it was too early. It was something that people weren't really having a discussion around. They weren't prescribing anything. They weren't trying to help us figure out how to hone it, but they were helpful. And I want to be very clear, partly the reason why some of these things worked out, despite being told by some of the regular teachers, we'll call them, that I wasn't going to amount to much because I couldn't stay focused. Those other teachers in my special needs room that helped me figure out that, man, my mind just works differently. My drum beat is heading towards something different, and it probably won't forever be a 9-to-5 job. Now, going through high school was a struggle. The learning part of it, the extracurriculars and the fun, not so much because with ADHD. Some of you are very introverted, and we'll have those people on the show as well. It all stays up here. For some of us who have ADHD that are very extroverted, all we want to do is monkey around. All we want to do is figure things out. How does this work? Why does it work? We ask a lot of questions, and sometimes that can get very bothersome to people that just don't understand. So again, goal being for people on both sides of the aisle to really realize what this is in a very natural, comfortable type of setting. Now, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not here to pretend to be. I'm a business person. I'm an investor. That's what I do. That's how I've used my ADHD to navigate life, and I do it in a way that my strengths are put to good use versus trying to just tackle and overcome and just be something that I'm not. And I will tell you, that's one of the things that probably changed everything for me. I did the 9 to 5 corporate job for about 11 years, past my tender year of 25 when I discovered what this actually was. And I'll never forget one of my favorite managers, I should say, first and one of my favorites. His name is Jim Collins. When I figured out that I had ADHD, and I chose, and some of you have chosen not to, and that is completely up to you. At that time, medication made sense for me. And so when I decided to put myself on this, I'll never forget his excitement, because we did a lot of ride-alongs together. It was an outside sales job. And how he could notice a difference. Now, again, I'm not here to push anything on anybody. I'm just here to say that's one of the things that once I discovered it, that's a natural thing, right? They're going to try and push pills on people. I accepted them. I'm not saying I wouldn't again, but I've discovered other ways, and we'll get through that throughout the show and the season or the episodes to follow, of different ways to navigate it, natural ways. I'm a huge sauna cold plunge type of guy. Routine and organization have to be a part of my daily life. Otherwise, chaos ensues. Maybe you can relate. But I do remember that moment when he knew me as the person that was kind of unmedicated and squirrely to somebody who really was able to focus finally and turn down that AM static a little bit. And sales was my career for 11 years. And I worked Verizon, Oracle, SAP, IBM, so on and so forth. So I did hold down some pretty high level jobs, but I was able to then later on realize that, these meetings and all these different things that my role required, they weren't bringing me a lot of joy. Now, they were required, and I was an employee, so it doesn't matter if I'm into them or not, I gotta go. But once I started to hang out with people on the entrepreneurial path, I started to see that, this curse, if you will, this abnormality was really a strength during the rest of my career, which has been another 10 or 11 or so years of starting businesses and investing and putting my kooky, crazy mind towards those types of things. What happens is every day is a new challenge. Every day is a new experience, and that really brings a lot of joy to me, and it really pairs well with my ADHD. So, whether you're 10 years old, like my daughter on her entrepreneurial path already, or you're 100 years old and you're hearing this for the very first time, it's okay. And not only is it okay, it's awesome. Having ADHD has been awesome. It has been awesome, but it's taken a while. And so what we're trying to do here is maybe fast track that path a little bit. Maybe you're going to listen to a couple episodes and get a couple things from them. Maybe you're going to hear an episode that changes your life. That's the purpose, and that's the point of this. I did miss, getting behind the mic. Like I said, I had that show, Coffee and Closers, for several years. It was a delight, especially what we built it to with the sellout theater shows and 400 people showing up. But that was a different topic. That was a topic around business growth and sales, which was attractive to a lot of people, and it was very kind of based. Like, it was one of those things where everyone can get behind, if you're in business, how to do business better. This is different, and this one's a little closer to my heart and to the chest, is how can we reach people of all ages and have conversations around something that they might deem as an inefficiency. They might think of this as a weakness, and I can tell you right now, it isn't. Your brain is just wired differently. That's it. It's just wired differently. And in the conversations we've had, my own struggles, addiction, different ways to cope with the dopamine deficiency that ADHD provides, if you will. There's ways to combat it that don't include medication, that don't include self-medication. That's probably the worst. But every conversation I've had, there is some sort of that, and that could be just working out at the gym 3 times a day, because you gotta just get that dopamine fix to get your brain back to normal, so you can go home and get along with your spouse or your kids or your roommates or whoever, because they just don't share the same brainwave that you do. But it's a beautiful thing. And that's what we're going to do here, is really bring to light that you have a gift. You are special. You are unique. You're not like everybody else. And that's the best part of it. All right. So with the episodes to come, we're going to be featuring people from all walks of life and people that have what you have, so that you, with the hopes that you can hear a voice, or you can hear a message, or some tactical advice that you can be like, you know what, I'm going to try that, or I'm going to kick this habit. I'm going to go 30 days without this in my life, and I'm going to replace it with that. If we can do that, then this is, this will be the joy of my life, and hopefully the joy of yours, to tune in for every episode and hear something new, something inspirational, something tactical, so on and so forth. Because I'll tell you right now, if I was back in public school, back in high school, back in elementary school, I guess, and I had something to hold on to and something to listen to from people that might be younger, might be older, but we all share the same deal, and that is we have ADHD, or we work with someone, or live with someone, or are raising somebody with ADHD, and we can hear stories, and we can share some laughs. I don't want this to be too serious. In fact, it couldn't be, because I can't be serious for more than 5 minutes, probably. To make it a fun, light conversation. And that's my commitment to you. And as long as you guys keep listening and keep showing up, we're going to keep producing these episodes, because I got a lot of friends that are coming out of the woodwork. Some I know very well and some I don't, that have raised their hands to say, I would love to be part of that conversation. Or they've said, hey, if you guys do this, I will listen, because my kid is struggling with school, or my spouse, is struggling with work. These are stories that we're going to cover, and these are stories that hopefully will ring true to you and maybe really connect with you. But the idea is that you're not alone. You're special. You're unique. And that's the point of this show, is to really highlight those people just like you that are special and unique, share the stories of their success and how they got there. But more importantly, stuff that we can all cling on to is when failure hit them, how did they overcome? When they were in their darkest hour, what did they do? Where did they go? Who did they talk to? What were the remedies that they found that really helped them? This show is going to be full of those types of things, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So thank you for tuning in to the very first, we call it episode 0, the first episode, intro episode of Radio and the Drum. We're going to kick this things up with the first 5 conversations, I hope, are revolutionary. They were for me. I can't tell you, if I could take notes, I would have been taking notes. But don't worry about that. You might be driving right now. You might be driving when you tune into the next one. Don't write it down while you're driving. Don't pull over. Just listen. We're going to be able to provide some different notes and stuff, so it's easier for you. But the more important thing is just listen to the conversation. We have no time gap. We're just going to keep going until the conversation ends, and we're going to keep it open-ended, because that's, as you probably know, that's the way our minds work. We don't want to cap brilliance. We don't want to cap inspiration. We got an open forum here, and we're going to go for it. So again, my name is Mickeli Bedore. Welcome to Radio and the Drum, and I really hope to see you in the next episode. Cheers.